Hello, hello, hello. I'm telling you, I'm about to start, when everything settles down here, um, and some things, I think I'm going to do pre-recording videos for my true crime. All right. Recording videos for my true crime. There we go. Hi, Teresa. Hello, Teresa. Well, when I get the things I need for the rest of my computer, my laptop, I'm going to start doing pre-recordings for my true crime, because I think it would be pretty cool if I just put videos up, then pretty much do that. Now I just got my my notification going live on my phone. All right. So I didn't know what to talk about today, so I got into this Edward. All right, let's see. Edward Allen Covington. Covington. Edward's case. He was a massacre. Killed a family. I think it was his girlfriend and two children. I was reading through a little bit of this, but we're going to dive into something about the girlfriend and the two children. We're going to learn a little bit how this case has happened and why. So I love when I dive in cases that me and you just finding out. I was just scattering earlier today, and I said, I don't know what to talk about on my live stream. So let's talk about a little bit of true crime, I guess. I looked in my Blue Dot integration videos that they post here on YouTube, and I seen this, and I think this case is a little interesting because it was on Mother's Day. It was a Mother's Day massacre. He killed his girlfriend and two children, I think back in 2008, and I think he fled for so many years. So that's where I'm getting that. Then I found the Covington versus State, Edward versus State appeal, things like that. I'm going to dive in more about all this, but I wanted to dive in a little bit about Lisa Fairberg murder. That's what we're diving in today. So let's share the screen because I think it's so interesting. Teresa, can you still hear me? Press 1 in the chat if you can still hear me. I do have subscribers mode only because I feel like if you are my subscriber and my supporter, you're allowed in here. Okay, you can still hear me without my avatar up there? Okay, cool. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start in, I think, the middle of August or the end of August. Or, sorry, I'm in August. September. Maybe after my birthday, that's when I'll start doing videos just to post them up there so people can know. Edward is the murderer. He killed his girlfriend and two children here. If you guys can see clearly, we're going to read a little bit about them. And then there is 3 videos on Blue Dot, and it's the interrogation, the detectives talking to Edward, I feel like. There's part 1, 2, and 3. Well, this is part 1 because we're going to know a little bit about the story behind it. So Lisa Fairberg murder. Where is Edward Allen Covington now? And this was in September 25th of 2021 when they wrote this. When Lisa Fairberg's mother drove down to check on her sometime in May of 2008. Let me do this a little bit. There we go. She could have never imagined that she eventually found Lisa and her 2 children mutilated bodies were discovered at a gruesome and bloody crime scene in their home in Lutz, Florida. Investigation Discovery Evil Lives Here. He was born evil delves into the culprit early life and clues in the viewers of his behavior leading up to the murders. So let's find out more about this case then, shall we? So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to put this in the chat. So you all know it's a trigger warning. I would understand if you left. Make sure, guys, put your headphones in if you can't hear when we play the videos and stuff, because some of them are quiet. And it's a trigger warning. Please, if you feel it's too much, you can leave and I will understand. So let's dive in. If you want to know any more about this case, it's up there. I will put Blue Dot's link in here. When I do the videos, when I start posting my videos about the true crime, I'll make sure I put every link down in the description box so you guys know. But here is the link to Blue Dot if you guys ever wanted, so you know. More to case, shall we? How did Lisa Ferber die? Lisa Renee Ferber was 26 years old at the time of her death. She was the loving mother of 2 children, 7-year-old Zachary and 2-year-old Heather Savannah. Lisa loved animals and even owned a horse and had a pet dog. She worked as a manager at Walmart. Lisa had been living with her boyfriend Edward Allen Covington for a few weeks. They met through an online dating website sometime in 2007 and got along pretty well. And there is the newspaper, Mom, 2 Kids Slain in Luke's. A man found hiding in a mobile home and elevated, but it's not suspect, official says. And then they have a little bit of this about whatever happened. On May 12, 2008, Lisa's mother, Barbara, went to Lisa's place because she couldn't reach her. When she opened the door, she saw Zachary's new body and immediately called 911. The police entered the home only to find a horrific crime scene with blood everywhere. Heather, Lisa, and Zachary and their pet dog were all killed. Even the damn dog? Oh my gosh. Even the dog was dead. Heather was severely beaten, decapitated, and dismembered. She also had several fractures and cut on the top of her head. Zachary was stabbed 5 times in the neck and the back. His skull was fractured, and his genitals were mutilated. Jesus. Lisa was strangled to death but had extensive defense wounds. She also has injuries to her face, to a beating, and a knife wound to her neck. The family dog was found killed inside the house. The police didn't have to look far and wide for the killer because he was inside the house at the very moment. Who killed Lisa Ferber? The police found Edward in one of the bedrooms, hiding in a closet. He was dressed in nothing but his underwear and had scratches and blood on him. Edward was taken into custody, and about 3 days later, he confessed to the murders. The investigators believe the killings took place on May 11th. Edward told the police that on the night of May 10th, he had taken pills and the antipsychotic medication. After stay-in, he didn't remember anything. Edward later admitted to what happened. And there's Edward. I think this is when he got captured. Edward told the police in a great detail about what transpired. He said that he killed Heather first by cutting her throat and then dismembering her. Then he killed Lisa and moved on to Zachary, who was sleeping in the top bunk in the bedroom. Edward then took Zachary to the living room and mutilated his genitals. He then killed the family dog using a hammer and his bare fists. Edward also tested positive for cocaine in his system. Imagine that, meeting some guy online. That's why people got to be really careful meeting people online. It could be anybody. It can be anybody. Hi, John. Anybody. The former Department of Correction officer had a long history of abusing alcohol and drugs. So the former Department of Correction officer had a long history of abusing alcohol and drugs. So it seemed like he worked for the Department of Corrections, a jail or a prison. He also had to deal with mental health issues starting at a very young age. While working for the Department of Corrections, Edward was abusing cocaine and opiates as well, and he had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder in the past. Edward also had a prior history of animal cruelty. After his then wife left him, he beat and dismembered her 3 cats and then called 911. Edward also overdosed on alcohol and psychiatric medication at one point. Where is Edward now? Defense contend that Edward was troubled and had not taken medication for his bipolar disorder when the murders occurred. His mother testified that Edward had tried to kill himself many times in the past. However, the prosecution claimed that he was under the influence of alcohol and crack cocaine, leading up to triple homicide. After his trial began in October 2014, Edward fired his public defenders and chose to plead guilty. He said, "I expect you to sentence me to death. I feel it's warranted. The Ferbers feel it's warranted. The state feels it's warranted. I have no problem with this." And there is this asshole right here. God, he looks different, doesn't he? Edward was convicted of 3 counts, each of first-degree murder and abuse of a dead body, in addition to 1 count of cruelty to an animal. In May 2015, he received 3 death sentences for the murders, 15 years each for the abuse of the dead body, and 5 years for cruelty charge. As per prison records, Edward remains on death row at Union Correctional Institution in Ralph, Florida. So that's where he's at. He's on death row. Okay. Now, we got a little bit back history of how this death happened. We are going to dive into the court. Hello. We're going to dive in the court. Or not the court, sorry. I'm going to look more up on this case after we get done doing this, so I have it on record. So here's this. Please make sure you have your headphones on so we can hear. I'll put on the captions so we can hear them. All right, here we go.
It is one of the most disturbing murder cases in Hillsborough
County history. A woman, her 2 children, and the family dog were beheaded and mutilated. Her boyfriend, Edward Covington, is now on trial for killing them.
It was a house of horrors. Blood was everywhere on every surface of this mobile home. Body parts all over the living room. Knives and hammers left on the floor. Tools of a madman. The medical examiner called it rage, pure rage. And Edward Covington admits he killed them all and then shoved birdseed and dog food in their open wounds.
He told detectives that he used a bread knife and, quote, "It went through the chest cavity. It's scary to say, but almost like carving a pig, a hog."
So what would drive a man to such madness? Lisa Freiberg, her daughter Savannah, her son Zachary, and their German Shepherd Duke were brutalized. Defense attorneys claim their client is crazy.
At the time of the crime, that Mr. Covington was insane, very, very insane. There was blood literally in every room, the walls, on the floors, the furniture.
Covington's defense, not guilty by reason of insanity, as his parents sit on one side of the courtroom and Lisa's on the other. The couple had only been dating a few months after they met online. Edward Covington suffers from extreme mental illness. His attorney tells 8 on Your Side and was not in his right mind when he beheaded and mutilated those bodies.
So before we get in this, let me tell you this. They use the mental health card a lot. You're going to notice that through the murders we go through together. You're going to see that a lot of them wants to use the guilty, like the insanity plea, the insanity mental health plea. I have bipolarness and I have manicness, and if it ain't treated the right way, when I was using drugs, I wasn't taking my medication, and yeah, I got a little crazy, but it didn't get to the point that I wanted to stab somebody. You know what I mean? When you're taking drugs on top of a mental health illness, it doesn't work well in your brain. It makes you feel much more crazier than whatever you think expected, and you do have some blackout moments. But in some of the murders' minds, when it comes down, when they most of them have drug addiction problems, and most of them have mental health and trauma and all that. Like we were reading a little bit on when he was growing up. You know, he grew up really fast and really on drugs, and he had a good life. Like he was an officer, a corrections officer, and he was doing all the right things. But on top of that, he was taking drugs. And I just know some of them uses the whole mental health card to try to get out of a plea, you know? And that shouldn't be a thing at all. So right now it was a little bit of the news cap, and now we're going to dive into them sitting in there. He's going to be with the detective, and he's going to talk about what happened, what made you do this, things like that. So please, trigger warning. Make sure you have your headphones on or your volume up so we can listen. And I have the captions here. Oh, and that's why I always said that I wanted to dive into what's narcissistic, what's bipolarness, all these things in a murderer's mind when it comes to true crime, because then you get a very understanding of, you'll see the same patterns in all of them.
You can explain to him.
No, and it's gonna start doing it.
Okay. We're here, obviously.
I told him about, yeah, he's under arrest. He knows
Right,
he's under arrest.
right. You know you're under arrest in violation of probation.
Yes.
And the drive here, you discussed, and you knew why the violation was due to the crack cocaine. So with that being said, and being in custody, obviously going back to your background, that you obviously know that before we talk to you about anything, or any of the violations or any of the sensitive or anything, we have to read your Miranda rights. So
Well, let me ask you this: what are you scared of? What is it? Something we can do to ease your fear?
I'm afraid not.
Well,
You're not afraid of me, are you?
No,
Are you afraid of Detective Morgan?
no.
All right. I just want to make sure that's not something.
The jumbled pictures I'm seeing in my head is what scares me.
It's understandable.
Why don't y'all just sweat me?
What's that?
Why don't y'all just let me lay there and
Listen to me. All right. You know, you were almost in our shoes, right? You were in the correctional field. You know that we can't do that. You couldn't do that, could you, when you were at work? You couldn't just let people go, right?
You took an oath to help people just like we did.
How many times when you were working did you have somebody in there that thought they wanted to hurt themselves, or they wanted to do
Even
something?
today, there was times I would stop and help people.
What's that?
Even today, I would stop and help somebody.
Okay, so now you know why you did.
That's your personality.
You're not a bad person, you're a good person, all right?
That's one thing I want to make clear. I don't want you to think that we're here to pass judgment. You just toss him. I can't catch him, but you can toss him.
There you go.
We're not here to pass judgment on you, or we don't think you're a bad person. We don't even know you. We want to know you before anything else.
We're gonna take this slow, as I explained to you in there. I mean, when you said you were scared, that's fine, and I understand that. I'm not here to make this hard on anybody, all right? But you understand and you agreed that you understood why it was that we have to talk about this, right? And as you said, the jumbled pictures are starting to come into your head and you're starting to remember more. Remember the first day that you saw me and we talked? Remember what I had said to you? I said, with time, you're gonna start remembering more. And those facts and those things that you put together are things that we need to talk about. Okay, and as hard as I know it's gonna be, okay? It's gotta be done. Okay? Friday? Want a drink?
And just like Detective Moore was telling you, this is just something we got to get, a preliminary thing we got to get out of the way, right? Someone will read this to you and then have you sign it.
And then the signature on the bottom is obviously the signature stating the fact that we did indeed
Read
read
it.
this to you and you understood, okay?
And you told us that you graduated, what's the name of the school? Sandalwood?
Sandalwood High School.
Sandwood High School in
Yes, sir.
Jacksonville. And obviously, we just brought you from UCH, so you're not under any narcotics or alcohol.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is gonna be says I, and then you'll initial the box. Do your school, were you in just regular classes?
Which school?
In high
Interview
school?
and interrogate,
No, no,
high school, I had a couple of advanced classes, early on. They're just too boring. But I was in drama,
Oh, really? How'd you like
Spanish
that?
club,
How'd you like drama?
love drama.
Pretty cool, isn't it? I wish I'd have known about it earlier.
I had that and I played in band. I played band, football, wrestling.
Really? What instrument?
Baritone sax.
Wow.
I made a superior at the solo ensemble in St. Augustine at the School for the Deaf and Blind.
Really?
Which I played a level 3 piece fandango.
Oh, yeah.
With me having my hearing loss, the judges were impressed with that.
So the hearing loss has been
It's something I dealt with all my life also.
childhood?
Mhm.
Really?
I have got my pilot certificate before I graduated high school.
Pilot, like airplane pilot?
I have got over 250 flat hours pilot in command.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you got that when you were, what was it, 16? Yeah, when you were
Yes,
16?
sir. I had my pilot certificate, 2/26, 89.
Pretty important to you, obviously.
Yes, it is. That's the first day I soloed. They cut the back of your shirt off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A little initiation there.
Yeah, initiation.
Pretty cool. Well, I've seen, now those things I never would have guessed. Especially, I mean,
I've
obviously.
been scuba diving too.
Really?
I wanted to go skydiving.
How's deep, what's the deepest you ever dove?
The deepest I've been is 110
Never
feet.
mind, it's deeper than I care to go. If I can't see daylight, I'm not going down.
saw a 500-pound Jewfish 3 miles off the Clearwater Beach.
Really?
That's a big fish.
Oh, so you dove here locally?
Used to. I haven't been diving in quite a while. It's just expensive, and then
Yeah.
getting all this other sidetracked, and fitting out with my ex-wife's BS, and
Now, how'd you meet her?
Cherie.
Yeah.
Back in '93, it bought me an MZR 600. Goofing off, and I was sitting there at Wedmore Kennedy. Popped it up first 3 gears, catwalked it all the way up to McDill. Hit 2% behind me. Don't you run, boy. Don't you run. I'm not going to run. I got caught playing. Time to pay the price. I go to jail. I go to jail. Just so happened he knew Sonia Mitchell, who was worked over at the courthouse along with William Alley. He used to be court bailiff for Judge Battles. He goes, oh, so you're going over there? And she tore my butt up when I got to her. He gave me a ticket, but she tore my butt up. And Ginger, Sonia's cousin, came over, and Sheree was with her. And that's how I never intentionally ran from police officers. Never. No, I was going down when I got my 01 R6 on Bloomingdale, or coming off that road by where the mall is, the back part to Bloomingdale.
Mm-hmm.
I did a wheelie between 2 cars because they were just slow, and did a wheelie between them. And I get up to the light turned yellow, and I laid the bike over. I dragged my knee in my boots, because I had mini sliders and boots.
Mm-hmm.
The deputy didn't think I would make a turn, but I mean, I'm top of the line tires. I didn't was back there. I get all the way up to Kings to see a sheriff's officer in front of me, turn around and do a U-turn. His lights on, so probably got me from hitting the something. Pulled over. He goes, what are you pulling over? I said, I was speeding. He goes, I don't know, but that deputy about 3 miles down the road.
So you and Sheree were married from
04
to 07?
Roughly, about a year. And I don't think there wasn't a day that I wasn't high when I was with her.
How'd that start? I mean, you got married. I mean, was it something you married right into, or was that something that took time to develop?
I had problems with it in the past. I mean, I've done it in the past, but a lot of times it was to self-medicate, because there was just times that when self-medicating, believe it or not, it was actually cheaper than trying to go out and get psychiatric meds. And with what I was doing, it was actually, I could smoke a joint, and that take care of me for a month. That one hit off a joint would take care of me all month long on depression-wise. I decided sometimes it was just easier to self-medicate. I mean, I can go buy Totem Pole Xanax, it's $5 a pill.
Right.
I got a guy that was at the Union Hall offering me Oxy 60s, Rockasets 60s for like $10 a pill.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's just easier, I mean, because now, especially now, all I gotta do is cut a quarter of it off, suck on that, and I'm good.
Let me ask you this, because he was asking, I mean, during that time, and you said pretty much during the time of your marriage, and you were married to her you got married July 19th, 2004?
Yes, I believe, yes, it was July.
That's what you said?
Yeah.
And then, and you were with her until about when?
The divorce was finalized on August 5th. Of 2007.
Okay. So that was pretty recent. It was just the end of last year.
We both quit doing, when we were in Orlando, both quit doing cocaine.
Okay.
We both walked away from it.
All right. And you had said that you had used powder, but then you had dropped the powder.
Mm-hmm.
When did the actual starting to use the crack cocaine, when did that start taking over? And when did you actually start using it regularly?
July of last year, I want to say, around what would have been our anniversary. And I hooked up with a girl named Kimberly Dotson.
And where was that at?
Zephyr Hills.
Is that when you were staying in the travel park up there?
Yes, sir.
Was it Majestic Oaks or something?
In Majestic Oaks.
And so you started smoking crack then?
So
then you started smoking. That's when you actually first time started smoking crack.
at first it was no big deal, and then I noticed that, like with powder cocaine, there's no lie, I could do an 8-ball and go right to sleep. I'm just, I could do an 8-ball and go right to sleep.
Wow.
Me and Sheree could do an ounce in 2 days and go to sleep. We'd been at a party here in Hillsborough County, in unincorporated Hillsborough County, where we went through 9.5 ounces between about 20 of us.
Wow.
And not low, I mean, it wasn't stuff, I'm talking,
No
if you was to put it into your test files, it'd turn, dark purple almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that quick. Not a slight reaction, it is instant.
Yeah.
You were staying there. You moved out there to Zephyr Hills. And did you move out there after you separated with Sherry, or
Yes, after we separated, we got in a fight, and my parents pulled me over to Zephyr Hills, and that's when everything started going downhill because I allowed it.
What do you mean?
That's when I did this one.
you started pointing to a cut on your arm?
Yeah, that's the one I did last year.
Okay. And now you had there was a few incidents that happened between you and Sherry at your house or at your apartment or whatever.
And she broke my nose.
Where the cops were called.
And I never hit her back. Well, I take that back. I did hit her one time. October 15th, 2005. We left Pleasure Palace, and she lit into me one side and up the other side. And she, bipolar like me, she had started to walk out into the street as I swear to God, I may have done a lot of things in my life, but I could never put my hands on a woman, even when I wasn't fucked up. I could never hit Sheree. She started to walk out in front of the semi, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I got her an outside wrist takedown, swung her around, and hurt her wrist. And she kicked me in the groin. I ended up headbutting her, trying to get her under control because I was concerned she was going to try walking out in front of traffic. And I finally got her calmed down and put her in the truck. To this day, it kills me that happened. I mean, I live with that. It's to see that fear on her face scared me.
Mhm. That the only other incident you recall that occurred?
There was another incident which I don't dislike a lot of police officers.
Right.
I particularly don't remember his name, but it was Osceola County. Now, if you're involved in a domestic, I don't care whether you have law enforcement training or not, there's going to be marks when you're involved in a domestic. We had went out to Pleasure Island over there at Disney. Somebody lifted my wallet. And I couldn't figure out why Cherie was so upset. I mean, because for that particular reason, I left over half the money in the car and the other half the money not in the wallet. I only left like $20 in the wallet. There's one place, one thing you do. I kept the rest of it down my sock. I asked her, what's the big deal about losing the wallet? And she had my Black and Milds in her short pockets. She had the baggy short, cargo shorts on. And before I asked her, I said, may I have my Black and Mild? She goes, yeah, here, get it. And that's when I asked her, so well, what is so hot about the wallet? And that's when she jerked away. So, number one, there was no intent to strike her. So there's no intent to commit a crime. There's no mens rea there. There was no guilty. There was none of that intent to cause her harm.
Okay.
Well, apparently somebody upstairs called the police. The deputy comes out and says, well, what's going on? I said, well, she's mad because my wallet got stolen. And she still hasn't told me that because she thought we had lost over $700. I would have thought, and here it is.
Right.
So everything would have been fine. Well, he goes, well, Mr. Covington, how do you expect we handle this? I said, well, I need to go in there, get my shoes, where I can go to work. She'll be fine this afternoon. Well, you're being uncooperative. Wait a minute, deputy. How am I being uncooperative? You asked me what I need to do in order to go. Well, I need my shoes. He goes, well, he said something that really, really teed me off because I noticed it said DVI, domestic violence instructor.
Okay.
And that's when I said, look, I've got 10 years in with the Department of Corrections. I've had the same training you've had. I understand what's going on here. You're asking me. I'm trying to help. Well, guess what? You're going to jail. Okay. And it's just going to be a vacation for me. I'll just go sit for a couple of days. Charges want to be dropped anyways. And they were because he tried to get her to sign paperwork without letting her read it. And she's like, well, what does this say? Oh, it's just standardized paperwork. All you got to do is fill out. She goes, well, his father told me never to sign anything from anybody unless I read it.
Right.
That's in law enforcement. Well, we're going to need your shorts for evidence. She goes, why? Well, because he ripped them. I never told you he ripped them. So the state's attorney ended up dropping that. And then come to find out Osceola County has a high disproportionate number of civil rights violations cases that kind of touch you along that lines.
Mm.
I mean, I could understand if he come in and the whole room was a wreck.
Right.
But there was no signs of a struggle. There was no nothing. I didn't have marks on me. She didn't have marks on her.
Right. Let's go back to the trailer, and I could understand your unhappiness with the situation, with that being the case, what happened. But when you moved back. When you moved back over there to Zephyr Hills, you said that your parents had helped you out. They had actually gotten, I mean, they've been there for you pretty much anytime, even when you had that run-ins.
Even when I've had my head at my house.
and then, but they put you up there, and then here recently, you moved out because they moved the trailer out of there. Is that correct?
Yeah, they moved well, because of this.
Because of the cuts on your arms you're pointing to, and that was.
I tried to get my medication the right way. I tried telling them, look, I'm having problems. I can't control my anger.
Okay.
I was on Tegretol. And taking the Tegretol, I swear to God, it was like somebody, I put a jackhammer on me, and I was vibrating. Literally, I could feel my eyeballs vibrating. Had a very distinct, heavy, metallic taste in my mouth. And I was sitting at the game box one day over at Central Maintenance and Supply, and I lost my job over this. I'm lucky I didn't lose my life because I was standing there at the game box. And I guess 30 minutes had gone by, and I'm standing under a 30-ton overhead crane that is flying this big old piece of steel in a daze. Did not know where I was at. I had no clue as to where I was at while I was standing there. And that was from the medication. And I told them then I couldn't take that stuff. And they kept forcing it on me.
Who?
Harbor. And finally, when I did this, they finally put me back on the Seroquel. And I told them 1,500 milligrams ain't going to work. I need more. This isn't working. I need more. Well, you don't qualify due to budget cutbacks and this and that. I just want to take my medication.
And Seroquel is for?
To help me sleep. Because without the Seroquel, I don't need cocaine. I can stay up for 72 hours easy and be just as effective as I was from day one, 72 hours. That's part of being manic bipolar.
And that's what you were diagnosed with? When were you diagnosed with that?
When I shot myself. I couldn't even get that right. Well, I
Can you hear me? There we go. Okay. So, can you hear me? There we go. Okay. So, I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was happening. It got really stuck. So, give me a second. I'll go right back to it. Jeez, it was driving me nuts. All right, hold on. Let's go back to this. So what I was saying before they like cut me off, manic bipolarness, I was saying that he was saying that he needed all this medication. He wanted to numb himself and take everything away because he was so angry. He was always mad and things like that. I was just saying that when you don't put no action, because only the medication can help so much, you have to put some type of action in it, like talking to a counselor, talking to a psychologist, do some action, do some self-care, stuff like that to boost yourself. Because when your mental health is gone, your physical and emotional is gone. Like, you become depressed, you want to be suicidal, you want to lose yourself, you want to self-harm or harm others, things like this. But the thing is, in my understanding, he just wanted to hurt. He didn't do anything to help himself. So he took whatever he was going through and hurt a family. He killed a family. I was talking all that time and all right. Ooh, I was just like, what is going on? But all I'm saying is I know what it's like to have manic depression, like manic bipolar depression. Like, you do go in this daze and all these things if you don't take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of anybody. The medication for mental health only works half of it. The other half you have to do. And you can't use some people can't handle it. Some people can't do anything about it. They're just really, really, really sick. But if you try to put everything in it and nothing works, then that's why you sit and seek help before you do harm yourself or harm someone else. All right, let's go back.
Well, I really was trying to shoot myself since it's almost 14 years old. Got my dad's visa issue. 68. I want to say it was 63 or 68. Police revolver, Colt, 38, long nose. And I said, hey, Liz, I was in ninth grade at the time. Hey, Liz, watch this. So I called a little stuff on fire. I don't know. And again, you know, I rode myself to the hospital on the bicycle at Regency Square Mall, the little walking clinic.
And what happened?
I come walking in and go, I've been shot, and they're all looking at me, they're like, yeah, right. I said, no, seriously, I've been shot by a gun. So
You're living there, and now the trailer's back at your mom and dad's house. How'd that come about? Did you just move out or?
Well, I don't know what was going on, but from my understanding, them boys had been coming into the park when I wasn't there, and I didn't know this.
Who's them boys?
Them boys that I was buying from.
The ones that you said you'd have deliver occasionally to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think his name is Mal. Well, I call him Mal.
Mal?
Mal, yeah. Well, Detective Hayhurst is probably wanting him, but I could never get Hayhurst to call me back.
But they were coming in the park?
Apparently so. Well, from what my father was told.
Okay.
But how true that is, that they didn't like me there in the park, some of the older residents. Because the last year when I cut myself the first time, when the divorce became final, I was gonna go ahead and deal with.
It bothers you, doesn't it, bad? It bothers you bad, the whole divorce thing, doesn't it? What part of that divorce is what bothers you the most? Is it the fact that it didn't work?
Being divorced, yeah. Missing, because as much as me and Sheree fought, I loved her to death.
Mm-hmm.
I was to blame just as much as she was to blame. We both made mistakes. None of us are perfect. Nobody is ever perfect. We all make mistakes in one way or another. And I've always had a very hard time expressing myself emotionally, opening myself up emotionally. I guess it's from being heavy and getting teased all my life. Because I swear to God, I still see myself at 460 pounds. I mean, I literally, when I go shopping for clothes, have to go try and
Remind yourself that you gotta go to.
that I'm no longer that size. It's.
But you're happy with that, right?
Yeah, I am happy. I'm much happier. I went from running a mile in 30 minutes right before my motorcycle accident and running 3 miles in 28 minutes. And I'm like, I can't run anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to go inline skating like I used to. I used to skate Bayshore from the Gasparilla to Ballast Point and back in less than 30 minutes.
Really?
Well, right at 30. Yeah, right at 30 minutes.
It's a good little skate.
It is about 12 miles.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is pretty good. So you moved out of there. Where'd you, they didn't want you there. That's what your dad had told you.
Yeah.
Where'd you go from there?
How'd you meet?
Yeah, that's strange. We met online.
It's like a dating service online? Chat
Plenty of
room?
fish.
Huh?
Plenty of fish. That's the name of the day.
Now they're about to dive in how they met his girlfriend who he killed. And I'm sorry, guys, if I paused it and you didn't hear anything when I was talking, I guess, because I had my speaker on and things I was saying, now I can't take it back. But I hope you get an understanding what these detectives are doing to him. And now the detectives know he's very comfortable. They're diving right in, be like, okay, now how did you meet her? How did you meet the girlfriend? See how that works? It's very interesting. All right, let's go in it.
Plenty of fish.
Did you have a computer? Where'd you have a computer at?
At my parents' house. I'd go to my parents' house and everything, and that's where I met her at, and we hit it off. I really enjoy being with her.
Yeah. Did you like? What was the best part about? What was the best part about that with her?
I was opening up and telling her about things I've done that I wasn't proud of. I mean, mistakes I've made, including the drugs. She never judged me.
She was always fair to you.
And just like when we're having problems with potty training, I mean, what 2-year-old isn't? It's just funny. I don't know what the girl's problem is, but she'll look at you and poop and just sit in it all day and not say a word. Till the diaper's ready to fall off. When she grabbed hold of the cell phone a couple days ago. And I didn't mean to hit her hard. She had her diaper on, and I caught the side of her leg. And I, not realizing that I did hit her hard. Right? Because, of course, I smacked her, and she just went, and then stops. And just looks at you and starts giggling. And it's like, okay. Did I hurt her, or?
Just get her attention.
Right. She didn't react to it. I mean, that happens.
I mean, I sat there, and she fell one night, going to my parents, or we were at my parents for Christmas. She's just looking down the driveway at Rosie and Don's, slips, hits head first, had this big old sized knot, cried for maybe a minute, and that was it.
Oh,
Wow.
I was like, that reminds me of somebody else I know. But no, she's like that. So if I hurt her, I didn't know it wasn't intentional. And then she was all upset and going, my mom's accusing you of abusing my children.
When'd she tell you that?
Today's what? Wednesday,
Tuesday.
right? Last Thursday.
Today's Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, last Wednesday or Thursday, because my mom was hot. We went out to my mom's house, and I was hot, because that is not, and like I said, she hadn't been eating properly lately. I've been having to take away, when I cook for her, taking away her bread and her vegetables, where she'll eat her meat first, or she'll eat the bread, then maybe eat the vegetables, and then eat the meat last.
Yeah.
So we get her to eat her protein first, then start giving her a little of this and a little of that. And just pick.
Now they're getting into how he treated the kids. So you'll see how this all falls into a pattern. The girlfriend's mom accused Edward here of abusing the children. So that's how we are involved now, how he was treating the children or how he took care of the children. So, all right. Please make sure you put your headphones on if you can't hear. I have the captions on. And if you feel that it's triggering you, please leave, and I would understand, or come back if you want. All right. Let's get back to it.
Picky all the way around. Likes French fries, but don't like mashed potatoes.
Well, so how long have you lived with?
I've been living with her off and on for, well, officially, since the end of last month, I think.
April.
Yes, sir. But I would stay out there at her house, and she would stay over at mine.
At your mom and dad's?
Oh, no, over at the trailer before
Oh,
my parents.
I don't know if maybe I missed it. But when did you say you met her? I know you said you met her online, but when was it when you guys actually started seeing each other and actually physically talking and so on?
I want to say in August.
Okay.
It was right after my, it was right after my DUI, because it's right when I got my motorcycle. But you ever get a DUI, that's the cheapest way around the FR-44 now, if you don't have bodily injury. It's the cheapest way around it. I only paid $468 for 1 year for FR-44 on my motorcycle. Because I thought I had enough insurance.
Right.
Because I had the state required insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, you had to have $20,000 liability. And my insurance adjuster never told me that, or else I would have had it and wouldn't have had to carry it.
Right. So you moved in April?
Yeah, yes, sir.
How'd things go?
Everything was going great. Everything's going great.
What'd you do for transportation?
Except for that part, I'd use my bicycle.
Use your bicycle. Where'd you get your
That,
bike?
or because I knew some of the deputies out in the area, like, my business purpose only license, I can go to and from work, to and from the grocery store once a week, medical needs, self-help stuff. And a lot of the deputies I've talked to have said, look, if you're going to go do your community service hours, by all means.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to your probation officer, by all means. You're going to do, as long as you're doing one of those things, by all means go. But if you're just going down here to go to the bar, no.
Right.
But as long as you're doing something like that you're supposed to do, and that's what I would do. I'd go to and from work, or I'd go to and from school, which was also where my work was located, because I go to school once a week.
Every Thursday night or something?
This semester was every Friday? Yeah, every Friday.
On Thursday, you said that was Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday is whenever her mother had made a comment about.
Yes, sir.
Was it? Where were you guys at? Where was that at? Where were you at the house or?
We were at her house because that Saturday we went out to my parents' house.
Which would be this past Saturday?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
During the day?
Yes, sir. Because it's really shocking because we had looked at her and we didn't see no marks on her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we know she wasn't with us. I'm sorry, she wasn't with us. It was just me and her because her mom said, no, can't have the kids. And my mom says, well, look at the timeline. She's saying by 8:30, because the night before we babysat, because she had pooped her diaper, and I had asked her, you got to go potty. And she'll start to cry because she knows she peed her diaper. She knows she's in trouble, but she doesn't want to go to the toilet because she knows how to put her seat up to let you know if she needs to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Or just getting her to say, okay, I got to potty. She started to cry. No big deal. She grabs her diaper and starts running with it through the hallway.
Wow, that could be interesting.
So she got poo-poo in her hair, long the wall. I mean, her mother was cleaning it up. And we had to wash her like 3 times just to get it out of her hair. And she squirms around whenever water gets on her face. She hates that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we would have noticed then if there was any bruising on her. There wasn't. So from the bath time to 8:30 when her mom picked her up, there's a hand mark on there. And we put the baby gates up because while we were out at my mom's house, we asked for the baby gates because she likes to get up at about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you'll find her either in the kitchen playing with food, sleeping up under her mom's bed, sleeping out on a couch, anywhere but in the bedroom.
Right.
So we ended up going with the baby gates.
Who's
German Shepherd.
German Shepherd?
Mm-hmm. The other one we can't let in, she says
Now they're getting into about the kids, about the dog, about the family now. It's about to get really, really interesting. So watch and see how they ask these questions about them. They were talking about how he got back into the question. So the girl's mom said, where was you? Or where was you at when when the mom stated that you abused uh, her children, abused her grandkids, and getting back into all these questions again. That's what you're going to see, a lot of it. So, and then he'll go, Edward will go off and talk about something, and then they'll bring him right back. It's just more of a comfortability thing for the suspect to sit there with the detectives and try to gain some type of trust between them. So you're going to see a lot of that. Thanks, John. I know it seems long, but it's very interesting how they do this. It's about to get into about how and where and what, and it's crazy. The little bit that I did read on it, it's very, very horrible.
She's German Shepherd Wolf mix, but if you look at her and study her, I say she's all wolf. Beautiful white wolf, beautiful blue eyes.
The one that's outside? Outside? Yeah.
After she'll tear the inside out.
Oh, really? Stay inside?
Inside and outside. Failing in health. He's getting old. He's old. He has hip problems like all German Shepherds do. And lately he's been losing a lot of weight. Said he's like 15 years old, I think he is. So I mean, he's getting up there. But you can see that we've tried everything: vitamin supplements, puppy food, high fat human foods. Even trying to her horse. She has a horse, Skylar, that she had a problem with. He wasn't putting on weight when she first got him. We were going to use those tablets to see if they would help bulk him up.
And she seemed to love horses.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I used to own a horse when I lived in Cuba.
Oh, yeah.
Loved riding.
So, what time did you leave your mom's house Saturday?
I know we got there early so where I could give my mom her Mother's Day card. And in fact, we weren't at my mother's, we were over at Rosie and Don's because they were working out in the garden, the four of them.
They're weeding the garden.
Who's Rosie and Don?
They're neighbors. They're good neighbors. Rosie and my mom work together at Tandem. Or is it? Yeah. Where my mom works at, they work together there. Don works for Coca-Cola. And my dad works with y'all. We all ride motorcycles together.
Yeah.
So what time did you leave there?
I'd say it was probably noon.
What'd you guys do for the rest of the day? Where'd you go? Would you run us through the day? What you guys did, where you went? Who was with you?
She listens to Sinai 20, but I think we were listening to Glenn Beck. No, it wasn't Glenn Beck. Yeah, it was Glenn Beck on the radio talking about the gas. How all of a sudden we're getting this $168 million stimulus relief.
Yeah, I was saying who was with you, not what you were listening.
Yeah, it was just me and her.
Okay. Where'd you guys go?
Where did we go? Came back to the house. I jumped on the computer and started playing America's Army. Her mom called. And this is what's funny. You are not having them kids as long as Eddie's over there. Okay. She can deal with them. Because we know how her mom and her mom, dad, She just put 1,000 miles on her brand new Toyota, stalking her husband because he's cheating on her.
Who?
Uh,
Mom?
In fact, she had called me. This is part of the reason why I started staying over there. She called me up one day because I hauled off and punched her.
Which is her dad.
Punched. Yeah, her dad. Now I can understand, even as an adult, you disrespect your parents, you're going to get slapped.
Smacked. Yeah.
The reason why she got slapped was because she put the pool up under the garage, under the awning where the pool is located at the house. He punched her because of that.
Sounds like kind of a violent family.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of, her mom's been having a lot of problems and putting a lot of stress on me. And she's, from what I gather from her mom had gotten into, she had to change all her bank account information because money kept coming up, and it wasn't me. And that we know for a fact. Bills were getting paid that shouldn't have been getting paid because she had made other arrangements. I guess her mother had gone into her account and authorized the payment to go through.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which made a big hurting on us.
Financially,
yeah. I mean, it because my parents were helping me, and then they went to help Lisa out so where I could get through, and then it just
kept snowballing.
It's like you couldn't get it. Damned if you did, damned if you didn't.
What time did she call? What time did Mom call Saturday?
I want to say it's probably about 2:00.
In the afternoon?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, can you come get the kids now? I want to go with your dad to his work. Which I said, but she doesn't want the kids around me. I said, what's going on? She goes, well, they're fighting again. And I guess he hit her again or something like that, or something happened. And what really upset me, and it really hurt, was that she went and told her sister and her brother that either I was abusing the kids or me and her were abusing the kids. And she was sitting there letting it happen. And that wasn't the case. It just really, really ticked me off because that wasn't her mother's. I can understand your concern. You have a child, has a mark. You would come up to me and say, you know how this happened? Well, it couldn't happen when I spanked her, didn't realize I spanked her that hard. That's an accident.
Right.
I mean, I didn't have the intent on harming her. But to come right out and go, oh, he's abusing her, he's doing this,
just to make the assumption.
Yeah, just made the assumption because, I mean, it could be anything. There have been plenty of times my mom smacked me with a wooden spatula growing up that I deserved, and it left a mark, but it wasn't abuse. Or she gave me a spanking I didn't deserve because I didn't do anything wrong, but I knew I did something or was going to do something and may or may not get away with it. And, I mean, it all balanced out.
Yeah. So, wanting to pick up the kids?
Yes, sir.
What time she get back?
Probably about 20 minutes later, because they're dead. When you go out 148th, turn right, go to 41, which is Nebraska, turn right, and there's, I can't remember the name of it, there's heavy equipment right there. Just
Sinclair Hills?
I think so, right there. Yes, sir. Right there by Sinclair Hills, there's a little heavy equipment machine shop right there.
Yeah. That's where Mom and Dad live?
That's where Mom and Dad works at that. They live off Sinclair Hills,
Oh, okay.
but the shop is just as you go, just before that Publix, where
Okay.
Nancy shops at.
Right.
Publix up over there.
So what happens when he gets back? What y'all do?
We fix the kids' lunch. We're sitting back. She takes a nap. I end up fixing dinner. Where do we have for dinner? What do we have for dinner? I think we had fish sticks and French fries. I think. No, that was the night before. Because I was teaching her how to cook. She didn't know how to cook. She didn't know you could put bay leaf and rosemary and thyme in the water for mashed potatoes, and it tastes a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I was teaching her how to cook, and I had in the kitchen, had in the kitchen with me as much as possible, so where he could learn how to cook. I forgot, what did we have? Well, whatever it was we had was simple and quick.
What time do you guys eat?
Oh, we probably ate about 6 o'clock. Because her ex-boyfriend called Tom, deadbeat, won't pay child support, never pay child support.
Whose daddy is that?
Mother.
Okay.
And she lost her food stamps because he wouldn't keep a job long enough for them to go collect on him, so she kept losing her food stamps, which don't make a bit of sense.
What time did he call?
Probably shortly thereafter, because it was about 7 o'clock when we left to go out to Tom's. We lives in Zephyr Hills. Because his grandparents, his great-grandparents were down. I say we got there about 8:30.
To Zephyr Hills?
Sir?
To Zephyr Hills?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So all they're doing is just conversating about, the marks on the kid and where did the grandparents live at. So they have like a kind of a picture of things, how it all happened. And that's all this is what it's doing. It's just breaking it down from where they stayed, the grandparents stayed, where he stayed with his parents, where did the girls, where the girlfriend and the kids stayed, things like that. What year did this happen? This happened in 2008. Ouch. So it's pretty interesting that in part 2 and part 3, that's where it's really going to get really interesting. But at the end of this, I think I'm going to play it a little bit more to the 1 hour mark, and then I'm going to see where we're at the 1 hour mark. And then we would do part 1 with 2, part 1 or part 2 of it. So there's going to be a lot of parts to this story. All right, let's go back to it.
Because stopped and got that Slurpee on the way. Addiction to Slurpees. Love them.
What you guys do there? Eat dinner or what?
No, they just sat there and visited the grandparents and everything. Then we left and went home. And got to the house. I took my Seroquel and wake up in the back of a police car.
What time did you guys get home?
I want to say I think it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock when we left, because the kids passed out almost immediately after being put in the back of the truck.
All right to sleep.
Yes, sir.
And when you guys got home, you just put them in bed?
I put them in, put us off to bed.
So what they're doing is the routine. That's what they're doing, seeing what the routine was with Edward and the girlfriend with the kids.
Put in the bed.
Now, who bedroom has the bunk beds? Okay. And then you got like little butterflies on the wall or something? I mean, not, but,
Horses, yeah.
oh, okay.
Horses.
All right. And you sleep at in the master bedroom?
Well, the add-on that, she built that. Yeah.
Add-on?
Yeah, that's an add-on.
Where, all the way in the back?
All the way in the back. Her bedroom's the add-on. And the reason why it doesn't need a permit is because it's less than a 12 by 12. It's 10 foot by 12 foot.
Oh.
Very nice.
So, what time is it when you guys get to bed?
I want to say it's probably about midnight, 1 o'clock, because I don't remember how much I took. I knew I took a handful of Seroquel because I was just dog tired. I hadn't been sleeping good on it. So I took 4 200 ERs. And
You gotta explain that to me.
it's extended release, 200 milligrams extended release Seroquel. I know I took at least 1,000 milligrams Seroquel. That's 100 over the max safe dose.
You took how much?
100 over, probably 1,000 milligrams of Seroquel, which should have knocked me out all night long.
Now, you say the Seroquel helps you sleep?
Yeah, it can explain the bruises like on my ankle and everything. Because the only problem with Seroquel and me is, since I've had my surgery, I feel like if I take Seroquel with enough water, and within 15 minutes of taking the Seroquel, I can't stand up straight when it's working properly. It's like turning off a light switch. The nervous center in my head shuts down. All the extra thought of, okay, I'm going to do this tomorrow, I'm going to do that tomorrow, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do this. Okay, I'm going to do this, shuts off. Everything goes quiet.
Okay.
And coordination goes, eyesight goes. I actually don't hear ringing in my ears.
That goes away. So that goes away.
Yes, sir.
Well, what happens if you don't go to sleep?
Then I'm in for a rough night. It's just tossing and turning. I can't get out of bed, because if I try to get out of bed, I'm going to fall and hurt myself, because I have no coordination. There's no. I couldn't pick this bottle up right in front of me with 400 milligrams of Seroquel in it after about 15 minutes, because I can't focus.
And how long does that last?
Well, this extended ER I just got, and the first time I took the ER, it lasted almost 26 hours.
And how much was that?
They had given me
Well, no, what dosage lasted 26 hours?
the 200 milligram
Just
ER.
one 200 milligram?
One 200 milligram ER that I took the first time I took it.
And so you took?
I took roughly 1,000 milligrams Saturday night, with, I think 4 of them being 200. I know you're checking my eyes by kinesis, but yeah, to my knowledge, it was.
No, you're thinking, you're looking up
Yeah.
different stuff.
I want to say it was either 300 or 400. I'm not sure offhand, but I know they were the ERs.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to say it came in waves that extended. It just, because I didn't take it just all at once. I just didn't. No, I took a couple, waited a couple, because I can't take pills by the handful, because I could drink this much water and throw it right back up if I wanted to.
Mm.
And I don't have a gag reflex. That's from my surgery.
Right.
So I have to be careful when I drink pills. A lot of times what I like to do is just suck on the pill to let it slowly dissolve this way, that it takes time slowly this way, in case I have to use the bathroom or do something before the full effect kicks in.
Right.
I can get that last minute thing done before I'm down and out. Because when I take my Seroquel, I have at least 8 hours where I am not going to move. If
Well,
that
what
house
happened-
gets on fire, and I'm toast.
Well, with any medication you take,
No, just-
you can't take a lot of medication
Yeah,
at one
I
time?
put it this way, the Roxaset I had in liquid form right after my surgery, 1 teaspoon, and I felt like I was on cloud 9.
Right.
I could sit there and tell you, oh, look at the ants on the roof, just from taking 1 little teaspoon.
Well, what would happen if you took that much Seroquel and then smoked crack?
I didn't smoke crack after, let me rephrase that. I didn't take Seroquel and then smoke crack.
Smoke crack, then took Seroquel?
Yeah, I smoked crack and then took Seroquel.
Saturday?
Yes, sir.
When was that? Where? When would that fit into your schedule that we just went through?
I had left because I knew the kids wanted to spend time with Tom, and I didn't want to infringe on that, because I respect the man. I mean, he may be deadbeat, but he was trying to make an effort and be nice, and he hasn't hit her or anything like that, to my knowledge. So I just said I needed to go check my mailbox over, because I hadn't turned in the key yet for the mailbox and everything. And she said, okay, and I went by, saw my boy, got me a 40, and
That's it? 40?
Yeah.
And now, where was it you went? You said, so you left Tom's?
No, yeah, I left Tom's.
And where's Tom's at?
Tom's off New York and 20th in Zephyr Hills. Went straight down Zephyr Hills to 6. Made a left on 6. There's a church right there, Copeland. I think it's called Copeland. Running around the back of the house, the 2nd Street. Yeah, boy, what's up? Hey, here's your 40.
Okay.
They know me about that.
Where'd you smoke it at?
Not while I was driving, no. But,
Well, I'm just curious. I'm just curious, 'cause, I mean, you got everybody around, you know what I'm saying? You got everybody around you and everything.
Have you ever noticed something, and you might want to ask the narcotics officers this, there's 2 types of people when they drive, dealers and users. The individuals running drugs always drive 5 miles an hour slower than everybody else. That's how you know they got drugs on them. I just pull over and do it in plain sight.
Okay, so you just pulled the side of the road
I
and
just
smoked
pull
it?
it,
Now they're explaining how it's just they're all over the place about asking all these questions to Edward about things. Discussed how when he takes Seroquel, what does it do to him? And now they're talking about the drugs and where do they pull over and stuff like that. So I'm going to give it more time, and then if you want, you can discuss in the side chat about if you have any questions or you want to know anything. Just talk on the side chat if you want. If you can hit the thumbs up, I appreciate it. it's more of the conversations, really. It's more comfortability. And we need to know what the whole situation is here, what the whole situation with Edward. They're more getting into his mental, his brain, his mind, how he works, how he does things like this. This is what you have to see and watch when it comes to body language or the way he talks. He's very calm. If you notice, he's very calm after just killing a family. He's like super calm. And that's where it's more like, wow, like you just killed your girlfriend, her 2 kids, and the dog. So it's just weird how he's just chopping it up with these detectives like they're friends or something. Like they just got off at work and had a couple beers or something. So that's where we're at. They're just having a conversation on things. And I know it seems like it's dragging so long, but it gets more intense, more like things like that. So hi, Shelly. Oh yeah, John. Okay. I might do that. Yeah, maybe the drugs are keeping him calm, but this is crazy. Like how he's very calm in all this. The whole time we've been watching it, it's just, he's been very calm. All right, here we go.
Yeah, you know how many officers have passed me thinking I was lighting? I said, because they all know I smoke cigars.
Right.
Do you like it?
No,
do you honestly like smoking crack? I mean, is that...
No, I don't like it because it's not fun. The whole reason to do drugs when you're young is because it was fun. It was a way to rebel. It was a way to act out. This isn't fun. This isn't fun. It's not me.
I'm sure you want some help to get off of it.
Yes, I do. And I've had so much, my parents offered so much help. But it's hard to go to your parents and say, hey, Mom, Dad, your son's a crackhead.
You didn't have to. They knew that, and they were there for you. They've been there for you. That's the whole thing.
So people that are turning in, he is a man who killed his girlfriend, the 2 kids, and the dog on Mother's Day. It was like a family massacre. He is addicted to crack cocaine, and he takes mental health medication. And at that night, he blacked out, and he don't remember what happened. But if you want to rewind and watch, but he is very calm. He remembers dates. He talked about his situation with his ex-wife. He talked about where he lived. How did him and his girlfriend met? They met on an online site called Plenty of Fish. They were only together for a couple months, and he ended up killing them. His ex-wife, they got a divorce, and he killed the cats. Things like that. So that's where we're at. All this is conversation with the detectives to get him pulling into being comfortable and to know that they're not going to judge him for what he did. They just want to know what happened. And you'll see it'll go back and forth. They'll ask a question, then it'll go back to whatever Edward was speaking about. And then, he talked about his mental health medication, what he sleeps, and then now they're talking about his crack cocaine addiction, things like that. So here we go.
We talked about. They haven't ever turned. He's given your mom and he, right? They've been there for you the whole time. Then why do you think that trailer was put out there at that park? That trailer was put out there at the park so that you could get away from all this. Right? Look at the park you were in. Right? Do you think that cost them some money?
Yeah, it did.
Huh? What about your bike? You wrecked your bike, remember? You wrecked your bike, you rear-ended a van.
Yeah,
The van down. I don't care. I don't care about this story, okay? I'm just saying, I
Well, at
don't
least
care
I knew
about
what a
that.
mosquito felt like in the back.
Right. But what I'm getting at is, they've always been there for you. And you know what? To have sat there and talked to them and to see how they reacted to the current situation and everything that's going on, they're pretty tore up. They love you, and there's no doubt about that they love their son. They definitely know that you need to get help. And I think, as we were riding here, you said it's terrible, and then the visions that you're getting and the pictures in your head of what happened. What are these things? These are the things that we need to talk about. All right? These are the things, Eddie, that's not going to go away. It's not going to get any better. No, it's not. Oh, you understand. I need to have an understanding. You have got to explain this to me. The crack I totally understand with a mixture of the Seroquel. I'm not judging you. All right?
Please do.
No.
Somebody needs to.
I'm not going to. I'm here, Eddie, okay? To find out the truth. Eddie, you've got to give me the truth. I'm going to be patient. There's going to be some things that may not be clear for you, and I understand that. But let's do this, and we'll do it together, all three of us. All right? You went, you came home, all right? And let's go from there. All 4 years at the house.
So right now the detective pulled said, listen, I understand you're telling a story. I really don't care about the story. I really want to know the truth. Let's get through this. Your parents love you so much. They are torn about what just happened. I want to know. This is where now the interrogation with the detectives is going after Edward, aka called Eddie. So Eddie is going to finally needs to tell the detectives the truth. So the detective was like, well, we're going to start from when all four of you were at the house this morning. So hopefully we get into what happened that day. All right, here we go.
Yeah, it is.
We just had sex, and she asked if I wanted anything to drink. I said, yeah. I said, do you want to get a whiskey? Because it's been a long time since I had a drink, which is no big deal. I hadn't taken a Seroquel yet.
Okay.
And she's like, well, I don't like whiskey. I'm like, well, whatever. Here for vodka. She got the raspberry vodka. It's actually pretty decent. We drank it. And she ended up falling asleep in my arms. And from there, I'm looking at death. I already know that. I'm going to be put on, I'm going to get death.
Why do you say that?
For what?
Why do you say that?
I know I've made 100 on my law. And
Okay, I understand that, but explain to me the circumstances of why you feel that, okay?
capital crime.
Okay, which is?
Heinous, I guess brutality. And from what I saw on the news and from what I overheard, all three of them.
That's what we need to clarify, Eddie. Those are the things that you have to explain to me, Eddie. That's what I'm asking for. Listen to me. Just like you're sitting here talking to me now. Eddie, look at me. I'm not here, okay, to tell you that was wrong. You know what was wrong. You're a good person inside. You know it does. We already discussed this, that we know that crack cocaine makes good people do bad things, right?
But it shouldn't have made me do this. That's not me. I don't know what happened.
I understand that.
It's a combination.
Right. And that's not
That's why we're not judging you, because that's not a fair and accurate
She did
representation.
nothing but love me.
She tried.
These kids loved me.
And what started this, Eddie? What started this? You guys just had sex and you guys had a few drinks. Did you want sex more, or what happened?
Oh, I was content. I was happy with her.
Okay. Well, what happened?
So at this moment, like he said, they had sex. Uh, she asked if he wanted to drink. He said yes. They get a couple drinks. They started drinking. And now he's starting to cry. This is where the calmness goes into crying, because now it's full of guilt to the point it's going to turn into anger. And that's where he's asking, okay, well, then what happened? He even said, oh, I'm going to get capital death for this. I'm going to have death for this, because it's brutally, like, he said that he don't know why he did this. He don't know why it happened. He's not this person. But he was just saying, when he was calmly talking, that, he did hit his ex-wife, and he tapped the little girl on the butt, but more harder than what it was. So, and he said she was full of love. I don't know why it happened. And the detective asked, well, then if you were happy, did you want more sex? Did you want more something triggered you to sit there and say, well, you wanted to kill the whole family? So here we are. Now it's getting into the part that we all been waiting for.
Nothing. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
You don't know what sparked this, okay?
No.
Okay, but what'd you do then? What'd you do from that point? What's the first thing that you did? Eddie.
Watch his body language. Watch how he gets upset. Watch all this.
Listen, Eddie, we've got to talk about this. I know it's hard, all right? I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Come on, man. Let it out. Why? Huh? Why?
The most.
You hurt her the most? What'd you do? What'd you do to her? You cut her in half? Why? You don't know? Was she the first one? She was? Were you scared? I mean, what happened? I mean, was there something?
Honestly, I couldn't. This is like a snapshot.
What did you use to cut her with? What did you use?
It had to be a knife.
You don't remember what knife?
No.
Okay.
Sorry about the captions.
Where was during this time?
Maybe she was still in bed.
She was still in the bed sleeping? Eddie, listen. So she's still in bed? And you go in there, where's...
I was in the living room.
Where at? In the living room?
Sitting on the couch.
What's she doing? She watching? What's she doing? What was she doing when you walked in there? Eddie.
I think she was just laying there.
Was she asleep?
No, she was awake.
Okay. She's just laying there? She clothed? Or was she undressed?
No, she was dressed.
Okay.
As far as I remember, I think put her to bed with just her shirt and her diapers on, if I remember correctly.
Put her in bed?
Yeah, put her in bed with her shirt and a diaper on.
But why was she on the couch?
And like I said, I guess it didn't I know what it was. It shut the door and she got it open during the morning.
In the morning?
At one point during the morning, she got it open.
What time was all this about, do you think? Daylight, nighttime? Was it nighttime?
I want to say it was probably about 10:30 Sunday, I think.
In the morning.
I think.
Okay, so he's in bed. Where's
He should still be in bed too.
he was in bed, or he should have been?
He should have been. He was. No, he
But
was.
remember, that's what I'm after. I'm after I want you to help explain to me what it was you saw. All right? You walk in there, she's laying on the couch. She obviously got her door open and she went in and was laying on the couch, right?
Mhm.
What happens now at this point?
Everything just went haywire.
Okay. Did she wake up? Did she say something to you? Did she cry? Did she?
She asked me what's going on. I remember choking her
Okay.
and asked me what it was that I want. I said, "Where are the keys to the truck?"
You were asking for the keys to the truck?
No.
Okay.
And she asked why, and she just stopped breathing.
Okay. And that was, then what happened? Why'd you want the keys to the truck, actually?
I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly, there's nowhere to go.
Okay.
There's nothing to do.
Did you ever go to find the keys to the truck?
No.
Did you ever go into the truck?
Yes, I did.
How'd you do
Because
that?
I think I was looking for my cell phone.
Okay. How'd you do that?
Tire bar, breaker bar.
Okay. What'd you do?
Broke through the driver's side window.
All right. Now you had just asked for the keys to the truck.
Mm-hmm.
She quit breathing. Where is now?
Still in bed, asleep.
Alive?
Alive.
Okay. How about
She was already dead.
okay. Explain to me this. All right. Let's go back to. I know it's probably one of the hardest ones for you to have to talk about. All right. I understand that. But explain that to me. We're still walking out in there. She's laying in the living room. What happened? You mentioned earlier capital. Did you have sex with her?
Oh no, God, no! No, hell no.
Okay. Well, I have to ask. Okay.
No,
Okay.
never. That's just.
Okay.
What I did was wrong. What I did was wrong. But y'all wouldn't have to worry about me.
Okay.
Being alive. That I
understand.
could never do.
Okay. And because I had to ask, because you mentioned just a minute ago what I did as capital, and I wanted to ask you about that. All right, so when you got out there, was awake, or was she asleep on the couch? She was lying on the couch, but was she asleep?
I think she was awake.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, she was awake. And
what happened? You walk in, you see her laying there. Did she?
I asked her what she was doing up, and she just started to cry, and that's it. That is the last recollection of being in control I know of.
So then the very next thing you remember
Is all this chaos going on.
What's the chaos?
Killing.
Okay. What part of that do you remember? That's what I'm needing. What is that part that you actually recall from, you say, you, from there?
When I cut her throat.
Did you do that to make her stop crying?
No, she never cried.
She was crying originally, though, when she was on the couch.
No,
No.
she never cried.
So you cut her throat?
Sure.
Where at, on the couch?
Jugular.
But was she on the couch?
Were you sitting on the couch?
She was laying on the couch, yes. I was standing over her. She never cried.
And then what? Where'd you go from there?
I went,
And then what all did you do?
I asked where the keys were. And I'm not sure if I asked her or not. I think I did.
Okay.
Where's the card and PIN number?
Oh, okay, okay. You wanted the money.
I think so. I don't know. Part of me remembers saying that. A part of me says, well, wait a minute, that don't sound right. Because after everybody was dead, I kept hearing saying, Eddie, you got to get up and go to the store. Eddie, I need you to go get to the store. Hold on, I'll go get it in a minute. I just took my Seroquel. I'm tired. And that went on all day Sunday.
Because you were taking the Seroquel throughout the day after this happened. Obviously, it was traumatic. What were you to do? After you asked for the keys, did you do anything else?
I know. I think I cut her 2 more times. I'm not sure.
Yeah, where at?
I know.
Where else did you cut her?
Cut her here and here, I think.
Why did you do that? You know, what was
Because
going on?
it's just every time I turned around, she was asking me to go get her something. I'm like, I can't right now. I can't. I'd lay back down and she'd be touching my foot going, well, I need you to go outside and feed the animals.
This is after they're dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would get up and I'm like, I know I'm not hearing her. I'd look, her eyes would be looking at me. And I'd hear again, Eddie, I need you to go do this for me. And that's when I said, I've had enough of this. I can't take this no more. And I think that was Sunday afternoon. And then I woke up to hearing a banging, I guess, which was Tuesday. And I remember seeing her face and Larzu.
Larzu? Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
You mean Monday?
So I really think the reason why he hi Janine, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. I think the reason he killed the family because he just got tired of it. The way he's describing it, she was on the floor begging for him to go get the phone, go get an ambulance. And he was just so out of it. He just got sick of it and he just killed the whole family. And I don't know, something came over him. And I think the more we listen to the interview, the more we listen to him, it has to do with something with his anger towards her. And with men like that, from past trauma and abuse from other women, it just triggered him for some reason. So let's see how long else we got on here. I don't know, we got 17, 18, 19, 20. I think another 10, 11 minutes, and then we'll get out of here. Okay, hold on. All right. So the detective was like, so why did you cut her again? Why did you cut her? Where did you cut her? Things like that. Why did you hurt the children first, then her? It's just, there's questions, and he's not like answering him. He just said that he got sick of it and just cut her again. So please, trigger warning. If if this bothers you in any way, you can leave. I won't feel bad or anything. You can come back. Make sure you have your headphones on, because sometimes you can't hear, and sometimes the captions don't spell out the words right. Like when he said Seroquel, it came out circle. Um, if you are tuning in, he's got what we heard. He has mental health illness. He has manicness, manic bipolarness. He takes medication. He was on drugs. He was a drinker, things like that. And he killed his girlfriend, her two kids, 2-year-old and a 7-year-old, I think, and the dog. So here we go. If not, you can go back, replay it, and watch from the beginning, because I read out a article out on this, specifically what's going on right now.
That was Monday.
Well, Sunday, you said this went on all day Sunday.
Okay.
Whenever you come in contact with us, you remember that.
It was Monday.
Okay. Because I remember being in the back of the car.
That is correct.
And he said, I need you to sit up. I said, what?
And by the way, when we were watching this, he was very calm. He knew specifically dates and times. He knew what he did, how he did it to his ex-wife. Any other thing he knew where certain places were at. Now that he killed a family, he doesn't remember what he's talking about. He don't remember why he did this. He don't know why he's angry. So these are the things reason why I said when we were watching it all the way up to now that we're into the crime scene, he was very calm. He knew what he was talking about. Now he doesn't. He don't know what he's talking about. So this is where the detectives are really going to get hard on him. So here we go.
I'm trying to, because I remember somebody saying, hey, get the F out of the closet, get the F out of the closet. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to, I'm recording this right now. I can't get up. I'm off balance. I don't have anything. I need help. I remember sitting in the car. I remember hearing somebody said, you're not under arrest right now, you're being detained. And then I heard somebody say, we got to get him out of here now. And then I made a couple of series of turns, and then I woke up in the hospital.
As you were being taken from the house, you were in that closet. How long were you in that closet?
I couldn't tell you.
Was it daylight when you went in there?
It was daylight when I went in.
Okay. Now, and you said that you cut because she kept bothering you, kept asking you, you kept hearing her voice asking you to go do things, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Explain to me what you did with, and then what you did to what was why that? Can you explain that to me?
No, sir, I can't.
I mean, because you just explained to me, and that's why I'm asking.
I can't. That's what scares me.
Okay. Well, you
Do
said
you
you
remember what you did?
Kind of. I know. I know I literally would. Yeah.
how
With
did
your
you do
hands?
that?
Done.
Relax.
Take a deep breath.
I want to do the right thing. I really want to see my dad. I do.
How did you rip her in half? How did you rip her in half?
I think it was a bread knife I used. I think.
Okay. How'd you rip her in half, though? You said you literally ripped her in half.
Did you physically?
That I don't know. I'm really not sure how I did. I know it went through the chest cavity. Scary to say, but almost like carving a pig, a hog.
Okay.
So you didn't physically rip her in half?
No.
Please, guys, trigger warning. He literally said, they asked, how did you rip her in half? In his response, it's like carving a pig or a hog. That is exactly the words he just said. Now, that is the most disgusting thing I have heard in a very long time when it comes to true crime. Like, he didn't literally rip her in half, but he carved her through her chest cavity and said that it was like carving a pig or a hog. All right, here we go.
So you said the first injuries that that anything you did to her is the first thing you did is you sliced her jugular.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you said that you strangled her.
Yes, sir.
What about where was he at? Did he ever come out?
He was in his top bunk.
Okay.
I stabbed him.
Okay. Where at? The
Right
stomach?
here. Yeah, right
stomach, chest area? How many times did you stab him?
I think I stabbed him 3 times.
Did he say anything to you?
He was still asleep when I stabbed him.
He didn't wake up.
So I think I hit his heart. I would say I hit his heart because he never said a word.
How did or why did you? He was on the top bunk when this happened. Did you move him from there right away, or did you leave him there?
I think I left him there for a little while, and that's when I started hearing constantly asking me to do things, and then I got what I could find and put him over by the front door, I think.
Why was that? Why did you do that?
No clue. No clue.
When did you, when you cut her jugular, how deep did you cut on her neck?
I think it took like 4 back and forth motions.
Okay. And then what did you do?
Sure.
You did 4 back and forth motions. How deep was it? Was it all, was it?
Well, it never shot like they would say with what they were taught in school. Oh, if you ever cut your jugular, it's want to shoot like 6 foot. It just kind of oozed out, and that was it.
Okay. Did you cut the head off? What did you do after that? What did you do with the head after that?
Sure.
What did you do with her head after that?
If I remember correctly, I set it over there by the front door. I think I set it over there by the front door.
You completely, the house was a mess. You recall that? The house was a complete mess. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I was looking for something. She sent me looking for something. I can't remember what she sent me looking for.
This is after she did?
Yes, and I kept telling her it's not there. Well, it's on top of the entertainment center. It's not there. It's not there. It's not there.
Did you hear anybody else?
No.
Just her?
Yes, they're constantly telling me to go get things. It's no big deal. I mean, she's always telling me to get things.
Right.
She'd rather have me cook, and which didn't bother me because while she was at work, I would cook and do the dishes. I mean, it's only fair.
Right.
It gives her a little time off from the kids, so she can go to work, and she would come home and have a hot dinner ready. She was just upset that I was on my medication and it had hit a crimp in our sex life because I was having to get used to the medication again, and I kept trying to tell the Harvard, look, medication's not strong enough. Y'all got to put me on something stronger. Y'all got to get me. I'm not right on this. I'm still having problems on this. I need.
Where did it fall into all this? In between. Where did it come into this?
Not sure. Oh, I think last.
Where?
Well, last.
Where at?
He bit me.
Did he? Where at?
That's the third dog to ever bite me in my life.
Where did he bite you?
Right here.
Where at? Bit you on the leg?
Yeah. Not all these are him. I think those two.
Those two on the top of the inside of your left knee?
Yeah, right
Okay.
there.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Did he just bit you out of the blue, or I mean, where did that happen at? Where in the, was it in the house?
It was in the house, in this room. I think I stepped on his paw or tripped over him or something. He turned around and hauled off and bit me, and I hit him too hard.
What'd you hit him with? You remember?
Oh, to put him down was with the hammer, because I mean, I
What part of the house was that in?
huh?
What part of the house was that in when you did?
Because I had punched him, and I think I really hurt him when I punched him.
Yeah.
It startled me that he bit me.
So you hit him with you punched him and then hit him with the
Yes,
hammer?
sir. If I remember correctly, I punched him first, and then I hit him with the hammer. Or it could have been the other way around.
Right.
But
And that was in his room?
the hallway into the room.
Okay.
Did you ever bring him out of there?
Sir?
Did you ever bring him out of there? Did you ever bring out of that location, or did you leave him
Oh,
right
no,
there?
I left him there.
What about after she kept asking you to do things?
She asked me to bring Smokey in, and I brought Smokey in. She kept pestering me, where's Smokey? I don't know where Smokey's at. Smokey's in the house somewhere. You know how he is.
Smokey being the cat?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Somebody had stole Lucy. We had another cat out there, and her mom had always threatened to have those cats taken, and then all of a sudden one day, Lucy's gone. I was there at the house, and
Oh, her mother friend.
yeah,
Okay.
and everybody said, "Oh, we're joking," and I know I let Smokey in. Where's Smokey at? I don't know.
Well, they did find a cat in a kennel.
In the kennel?
portable kennel.
I think
Oh, is the kennel outside?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we found. Let me
Is
ask you
that
this,
this
did
floor
you,
I let Smokey in?
yeah, he was in there, he was in there.
Yeah, there was
We
a
actually
cat
put him in
inside
the
there.
kennel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. Did you call anybody? Talk to anybody after all this happened, do you recall?
No, sure, not from my knowledge.
Do you ever recall whether you did, because you guys had a home phone, right?
Oh, yes, sir, we did.
Okay, and then you said you were looking for your cell phone. Is your cell phone actually activated?
Oh, no, it got turned off because of, data usage on the phone. My mom kept griping about it.
When did that happen, though? When did you?
It just happened last week, but I still had important numbers in there so where I
Okay.
could make phone calls. And the aunt was supposed to give me her old Metro PCS one, and I was going to go on and this way I have my phone numbers ready to switch over.
Did you use the phone that day? Or
I
Sunday?
never found her phone, to my knowledge. Wait a minute. I think I did.
Okay. What do you remember?
Unless I was dreaming, I could have swore I called 352-346-6941.
Who is that?
My ex-wife.
Why would you have called her?
I don't know.
Did you talk to her?
No, she'll never answer.
But did she know the phone number, though?
No, not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
Right. Did you?
So he literally, so he killed the family. Okay, and I put it down there. This recording happened May 14th of 2008. May 12th is when, May 11th is when the murder happened. Okay, so it happened on Mother's Day. May 11, 2008 is when the murder happened. May 12th is when Lucy, the girlfriend's mother, comes down and checks on the house and finds her daughter and the 2 grandchildren laying out dead along with the dog. And the police came in and found him in the closet. So that's where we're at. And when he was trying to find his cell phone because there was important numbers in there, he used the house phone to call his ex-wife. So that's weird, isn't it?
I just like to stay in touch with you, see how she's doing, because I still care about my ex-wife. I'm always care about her.
You don't remember if you left her a message or anything like that, or remember when you talked to her or anything?
I may have, I may not have, I'm not sure. But I think I tried to call twice, and
Sure.
I don't remember if I left one, and then it, no, on the first one I didn't, but I don't remember if I did on the second one.
When was that one?
There was what looked like a fight.
We are at the end of part. So
It could have been when we were playing around earlier that night. Because she would come up and bite you. That's one of those problems we had with her, was she would bite.
Oh, wow.
Part of breaking her on that was we'd bite her back. Not hard.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's
And sometimes that's what it takes.
right.
That or just a no.
And I guess they were all. Did they go to bed with their clothes on?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What did you go to bed in that night? I think just went to bed in his t-shirt and underwear. We've been having a problem with. We went to her brother's Bright House Networks party, and
When was that?
a couple weeks ago
Okay.
up in Cypress Gardens, Lakeland.
Okay.
And while we were there, me and tended to a kid with a bloody nose. And none of the lifeguards saw it, and I happened to see it. He's streaming blood down. So I took my first aid knowledge and applied compress to it. Got him to lean his head back. Got to the lifeguard, found his mother. In the meantime, had run off from where he was told to be at with his uncle. And his uncle has multiple sclerosis. So we didn't let him do anything the rest of the day.
Put him in like a timeout?
Basically. I mean, we rode the rides, and he got to watch his sister ride the rides.
All right, so at this point, we know that he massacred the whole family. When they found the bodies laying on the living room floor, they were all naked. That's why they keep asking, were they clothed when they went to bed? The little girl, the 2-year-old, wore a t-shirt and her diaper. And then the boy was in like his underwear and t-shirt on the top bunk. And the mother, of course, was, had clothes on. Just like I said, May 11th of 2008 is when they were killed. The mother came, Lucy came, the girlfriend's mom came and kicked checked on the family. Nobody was answering, so she went in and found them laying on the floor. And he was hid in a closet when the police came and found him in there. So that's where we're at now. I know it was very dragging in part 1, but that's how you get to know a suspect and where they're at mentally or physically, emotionally, things like that. I wanted to check out this real quick, though, before we end it, because I know it's long. So I looked him up. He did get an appeal in 2017. I think it got declined. We will read through all this. Like I said, in May 2008, Lisa Ferber lived in Lutz, Florida, with 2 children, 7-year-old Zachary and 2-year-old Heather Savannah, and her boyfriend Edward Covington. Covington met Lisa through an online dating site and moved into her home April 2008. On May 11th, they only lived with each other they dated for a couple months, but lived with each other for almost a month, or was a month. Covington murdered Lisa, Zachary, and Heather Savannah. He also killed the family dog, Duke. 3 days before the murders, Lisa mother, Barbara Feber, noticed that Heather Savannah has a swollen lip. When Barbara asked about it, Covington said that he must have caused it by rubbing too hard and wiping Heather Savannah's face. The next day, Friday, May 9th, Barbara noticed that Heather Savannah also had hard prints and bruises on her buttocks, and then an inside of her swollen lip was cut. Barbara photographed Heather's injuries and showed them to Lisa later that day. Barbara told Lisa that she believed that Covington was responsible for the injuries. Zachary and Heather Savannah spent the night with Barbara that night. When Lisa picked the children up around noon the next day, Lisa told Barbara that Covington said it had to be it had to have been the babysitter who caused Heather Savannah's injuries. Around 2 p.m. that Saturday, Covington's probation officer, Stephanie Lorino, stopped by Lisa's home to see Covington. Covington, Lisa, and the children were all home at the time. According to Lorino, Covington appeared calm, did not say anything that was alarming or concerning, and this interaction with Lisa and the children seemed normal. That evening, Tom Fish, who is Lisa's ex-boyfriend and Heather Savannah's father, asked Lisa to bring the children to his mother's house for family pictures. Lisa and Covington brought the children to Fish's mother's house, but Covington did not go into the house at first. At some point, Eddie, I'm going to say Eddie because that's Covington's last name. Hold on. Eddie did go into the house and visit the Fish and his family for about 45 minutes. During this visit, when Zachary referred to Fish as Tom Tom, Eddie corrected Zachary and insists to address Fish as Sir. Eddie explained that he believed in being strict with children. Fish did not observe anything unusual but Eddie's speech or demeanor. The following day was Mother's Day, and Barbara was surprised that she did not get a call from Lisa. On Monday, May 12, 2008, when Lisa did not drop the children off at the babysitter's house as expected, Barbara and her husband drove over to Lisa's house to check on her. When Barbara opened the door and looked into the house, she saw Zachary deceased, nude body, and called 911. Law enforcement responded to the scene and found the home in completely disarray. The furniture was turned over, and there was blood on the floors, walls, and surfaces in every room except the bathroom. In addition, in Zachary's body, they found the bodies of Heather, Savannah, and Lisa and the dead dog on various locations throughout the house. Heather Savannah had been dismembered and meaning torn apart. That's where the chest, I think that's where he tried to carve into the chest cavity, like he was saying. Zachary's genitals has been mutilated. Lisa's body was in the doorway of the master bedroom with a bloody handprint on the wall nearby. The dog's body was on the floor in Heather Savannah's bedroom. 2 hammers and 5 knives was appeared to have been used in the murders were found and collected. A mesh bag containing bloody clothing was found under the mattress in the master bedroom. Law enforcement found Eddie in the closet in one of the bedrooms. He indicated that he had taken a number of pills, Depakote and Seroquel pills prescribed to Eddie were found in the house. Eddie was medical cleared by paramedics at the scene, but transported to the hospital for further diagnosis and clearance. As he was being transported to the hospital, Eddie looked back and stated, "I can't believe what I've done." After Eddie was released from the hospital on May 14, 2008, he was transported to the sheriff's office where he was interviewed by detectives and confessed to the murders, and that's what we're watching now. Eddie was indicted for 3 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of abuse of a dead body, and 1 account of cruelty to an animal. A jury was sworn and open statements were heard on October 22, 2014. On the first day of trial testimony, October 23, 2014, Eddie announced that he wanted to change his plea to guilty and waive a jury for his penalty phase. The trial court would not accept Eddie's guilty pleas at that time, but instead appointed 2 experts to elevate Eddie's competency to plead guilty. The evaluations and the doctor's reports were complete that evening. When court reconvened the next day, Eddie was given time to meet with his attorney and his family. Eddie then reaffirmed his desire to plead guilty and waive a penalty phase jury. Eddie's counsel supported his decisions to plead guilty and waived his penalty phase jury. The court was conducted a comprehensive plea jury, and Eddie, during which the court thoroughly informed him about the rights he was waiving. Rosemary said, did they say what he did for a living? Yes, he was a former, well, I don't know what he said for what he did for a living at this moment when all this happened, when he killed the family, but he was a former correction officer and he had pilot license. Eddie indicated both verbally and in writing that he understood the consequences of his pleas, and although he was on psychotic medications, there was nothing that would impair his understanding of his decision, and that he was not being treated or concurring into entering the pleas. The trial court accepted Eddie's pleas of guilty to all 7 counts of charging in the indictment. Eddie's reaffirming he desired to waive a penalty phase jury, and the trial court accepted the waiver. The parties stipulate that as part of the penalty phase, the trial court should consider the testimony of 4 witnesses who had testified during the abbreviated guilt phase. Eddie's May 14, 2008 interview, the detectives who played at the penalty phase in the interview, Eddie said that he met Lisa through an online dating site in August 2007 and then hit it off. He said that he had been living with Lisa on and off, but officially started living with her a couple of weeks before the murders, and everything was going great. He said Lisa and children loved him. He talked about the days leading up to the murders. He said that he and Lisa were having problems potty training Heather Savannah, and that she had been eating properly. He knew that Barbara had seen marks on Heather, and that she thought he was abusing the children. Barbara told Lisa that she did not want Lisa to take the children back home with Eddie was there. Eddie denied abusing the children and said it really, really ticked him off that Barbara thought he was. He admitted that he had hit Heather Savannah on the leg when she picked up the cell phone a couple of days before the murders, but said he did not mean to hit her hard. He also admitted that the marks could have occurred when he spanked Heather Savannah, but he said he did not realize he spanked her that hard. So, holy fudge cakes, there's a lot of them. Okay. All right, hold on. Okay. Eddie said that Lisa picked up the children from Barbara's on Saturday afternoon, the day before the murders. Eddie's prepared lunch for children and dinner for the 4 of them. They ate dinner around 6 p.m. and they took the children to visit the Fish's family. While the children with Lisa were visiting, Eddie said he needed to go check his mailbox and left, but he actually went by and smoked crack cocaine. According to Eddie, when they got home around 9:30 or 10 p.m., the children went to bed, and Eddie and Lisa had drank together and had sex. Eddie had played a computer game. He and Lisa went to bed around midnight or 1 a.m. Before bed, Eddie said he took a handful of Seroquel because he was dog tired, and he has been as effective recently. He said he took roughly 1,000 milligrams of Seroquel, including 4 200-milligram extend-release pills, which he described as 100 milligrams by the maximum safe dose. Eddie said when the Seroquel works properly, he likes turning off the switch. All the extra, though, shuts off, everything goes quiet. The extend-release Seroquel was new to Eddie, and he said the first time he took one 200-milligram pill, the effects last 26 hours. Eddie said that Lisa fell asleep in his arm. Eddie initially told the detectives that he did not know what happened next, but he then admitted to be remember what happened the next morning and described what he said he remembered about the murders. Eddie said that Lisa and Zachary were still in bed around 10:30 Sunday morning when he found Heather Savannah awake lying on the couch in the living room. Eddie asked Heather Savannah what she was doing up, and she just started to cry, he said. Then the last recollection of being in control I know of, and the next thing he remembered was all the chaos and killing. He said that he killed Heather Savannah first and he hurts her the most, and then he cut her in half with a bread knife. He said the first thing he did was to cut Heather Savannah's throat, the jugular, while she was lying on the couch and he was standing over her. He used four back and forth motions. He said he then literally ripped Savannah in half, almost like carving a pig. He said he had to get her undressed in order to cut her in half. He believed she was dead at the time. He could not be sure. He was discapacitated Heather Savannah and set her head by the front door. Holy crap. Although he initially said Heather Savannah was crying, he later said she never yelled or cried. He specifically remembered the bread knife he used on Heather Savannah was bent in process. When asked about a bite mark on Heather Savannah's arm, he said he may have left that the night before because she was biting Zachary, and in order to break her on that, he would bite her back. After he killed Heather Savannah, Eddie remembered choking and strangling Lisa. He said he did not remember punching her, though he might have, because he remembered her having a bloody face. He said he used a 2.5-inch wide butcher knife and an upward motion to stab her in the chest, which he believed probably perforated the heart and the lung. Oh my God. Zachary was asleep in the top bunk when Eddie stabbed him. Zachary did not say anything during the stabbing, and Eddie thought that was because he stabbed Zachary in the heart. He thought he stabbed Zachary 3 times, once in the back and twice in the chest cavity. He remembered a chopping knife breaking off inside Zachary when it hit the bone. Eddie then brought Zachary to the living room and removed the scrotum and penis. Oh my goodness. He said that the mutilated did not have a sexual basis, and then he used the pliers to touch Zachary's penis. Oh my goodness, this is making me want to throw up. Wow, poor babies. Holy crap. Heather Savannah is the baby. Rosemary. Oh, that made me just stop in my words. Eddie killed Duke last by punching him and hitting him with a hammer. So he killed the dog. That's the dog named Duke. Eddie said that Lisa was dead. Lisa is the mother. He kept hearing her voice, so he cut her again. Then he got what he could find of Savannah and Zachary and put them over by the front door. He remembered calling his ex-wife Sherry twice, but she did not answer, but he thought he may have left a message the second time he called. Eddie said that at some point he thought he must be a nightmare and that he's better take more Seroquel. He thought it was the time that he took Depakote, aspirin, Tylenol, and caffeine. He vaguely remembered falling down in the closet while he was looking for clothes. The next thing he remembered was there was police officers telling him to get out of the closet. He did not know how long he had been in the closet, but remember it was daylight when he went in. Eddie described himself to the detective as a time bomb and has been waiting to explode and finally blew up. He said he did not know why he blew up because Lisa, Zachary, and Heather Savannah did nothing wrong. Dr. Leszek Kroszowski, I think that's how you say it, the medical examiner who performed the autopsies, testified about the causes of the victims' deaths and injuries they received. Lisa's death resulted from a knife wound to her neck, was translate from trichidia, I can't say these words, esophagus, and left common her artery. It was gaping wound, 11 centimeters long, which appeared to have made by a back and forth swaying motion with the knife. Prior to the infliction of the fatal wound, Lisa suffered several injuries to her face, which were likely caused by a beating. Lisa has concussions and abrasions to her shoulders and chest, a 5-inch cut and stab wound to her left breast, and a superficial 8-centimeter lesion across her abdomen, which extended to a 28-centimeter abrasion and contusions on her right foot, of which were inflicted when she was still alive. She also had multiple cuts on her hands and fingers where were constantly was defense wounds. She suffered a premortem skull fracture consisting with blows from the smaller hammer found at the scene, which caused the whole area of the base of her skull to become fragment. Based on the fact that there were multiple injuries on all of Lisa's body surfaces, different planes, Dr. Koronsky opined that Lisa was conscious during the attack, moving around and trying to escape the injuries. Stab wounds to her abdominal and pelvic region were inflicted after her death. Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay, so we are going to save this. We did. And Lisa's death result from a knife wound to her neck was translate trachea. We already read that cause. So, I don't know, guys. Oh, Jesus, I can't. I wouldn't know what to do if I was the mom. Like Lisa's mom, I wouldn't not know what to do. So Lisa's mom is Barbara, and Lisa, this is her name. I wouldn't like, I don't know. So I'm gonna read about I'm gonna read about Heather and then Zachary, and then I think we can discuss a little bit. The cause of Heather Savannah's death was cut to the front of her neck prior to infliction of fatal wound. Heather Savannah was several beaten. Her cheek was cut down to the bone. The top of her head was cut with a knife in escapable motion, and both of her femurs were fractured. The femur fractures were spiral fractures, which Dr. Kurowski said a hallmark of child abuse, the results from jerking a child. Dr. Kurowski opined that the leg fractures and head trauma occurred with Heather Savannah was grabbed by the legs and hit against something. After death, Heather Savannah's body was fragmented. She was decapitated and her torso was cut from the genital region through the chest. Her right leg and hip were entirely removed from the body. Oh my goodness. Heather Savannah was suffered post-mortem fractures to her tibia and fibula and multiple stab wounds to her chest and abdominal. Zachary died as a result of 5 stab wounds to his neck and back, which caused internal injuries to the vessels and organs, including his heart. Prior to his death, Zachary's skull was fractured in a manner consonant with blows from the large hammer found on the scene. Prior to the infliction of the fatal wounds, Zachary was also stabbed in a sacral region, during which the knife broke and the blade was left embedded in the bone. A different knife was later used to inflict the fatal stab wounds. A large gaping wound to the front of Zachary's body, which exposed some of the internal organs, was inflicted per mortem. After Zachary was dead, his genitals was removed. Additional stab wounds were inflicted to his chest and back, and decapitated was attempted. Dr. Kurowski also determined the blows from Duke's head was consistent with a large hammer found at the scene. At the penalty phase, Eddie present mutation manly through his parents and several experts, including Dr. Daniel Buffagan and clinical pharmaceutical Dr. Fesco Sai and psychologist Dr. Valerie and another psychologist, Dr. Harry Kropp, and another psychologist, Dr. Bala, whatever. So that's that. And it goes on into like about his mental health and the analysis and all this, and it breaks down to what the psychologist says and the proportion of it and the hearse and the conclusion. Having reviewed Eddie's claims as well as specific of his pleas and firm judgments or convictions sentenced to death, it is so ordered. Eddie later was able to remember not only that he did leave Sherry a message, but exactly what he said in the message. Perimortem means at or near the time of death, or more specifically, while a person is losing blood pressure in the process of dying. These are footnotes. According to Dr. McCling, Eddie was not old enough at age 15 to be diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and his first bipolar diagnosis was in 2000 at the age of 28. 4. But the trial court noted that Eddie's mental or emotional disturbance at his rage of violence were participated by his voluntary use of cocaine, alcohol, and his voluntary discontinue of the psychophobic medications because they cause him sexual dysfunction, knowing such would participate rage and violence. Eddie's proposed of statutory mutilating circumstances that he's capacitated to appreciate the criminal of his contact or to confront the contact the requirements of the law was substantially impaired due to the mental health illness, but the trial court found that his ability to appreciate the criminality of contact was not impaired because of the mental illness, and that his ability to conform the contact of his requirements of the law was not entirely impaired due to mental illness, but were merely diminished due to mental illness and involuntary use of cocaine and alcohol. Although the fatal wound was cut to the throat because Heather Savannah was severely beaten before the throat was slashed, we also note that this court would considerably upheld HAC of beating deaths. And it gives all that stuff. Holy moly. Oh, there's another thing. Hold on, guys. I want to show you. I'm about to show you that, Teresa. Give me 1 minute. This is him. DC number R5, and then it tells him da-da-da-da. He's still in UNCI corrections. Look, how to apply a visitation. That'll be some shit, wouldn't it? All right. May 10th of 2008, first degree murder, premature or intentionally. Sentence date was May 29th, 2015. Counties Hillsborough, death sentence. 5/10/2008, first degree murder. Sentence date May 29th, 2015. That goes for all of these. Death sentence. And then from animal corpse, from abuse of a human corpse, 3 counts of that, 15 years each. And then tortures animal with intent, he got 5 years for that. And June 1st of 2015, he is in currently incarceration. Let's look at how to apply a visitation. There's two. Like, look at this. Let's go back.
All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Supreme Court of Florida is now in session. All have cause to plead, draw near.
In
Behaviors
out of control behaviors that were.
This one says, for Supreme Court oral argument, Edward and Alan Covington versus State. Covington versus State, Florida. Covington pleading guilty to the first degree murders of Lutz of Lisa and her two children, 7-year-old Zachary and 2-year-old Heather Savannah. The three were beaten and Farrow stabbed in 2008. The trial court sentenced him to death, and the court affirmed the conviction of death sentence on direct appeal. Eddie filed a post-conviction challenge in the trial court, raising several issues he claims were denied in the appeal followed. Eddie has also filed a habeas corpus petition.
Were triggered by that abuse, and that he knew it, and that he did it anyway.
Your Honor, that is part of the issue with trial counsel's ineffectiveness in presenting and developing the mitigation. The sentencer's order reflects a completely inaccurate understanding of Mr. Covington's use of cocaine and alcohol. The sentencer characterizes it as voluntary. And while, yes, Mr. Covington did ingest those substances, quote unquote, knowing it would cause rage, his alcohol and substance abuse were the product of his mental illness, not an entirely volitional choice.
Help us understand the rule you're asking us to adopt then when someone ingests an illegal substance and it has a mood altering or behavior altering effect, and how you propose this court deal with, the voluntary.
Body of her brother, 7-year-old Zachary, was found where the bad.
All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Supreme Court of Florida is now in session. All we have cause to plead, draw near. Give attention.
All right, well, I saved that, so I have it up here. Let me see what this says. I can take this down. Hold on, guys. All right. I can take this down. We did this today. Okay. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 minute. So I saved that. This was March 9th of 2022. That video I was just playing. So I saved it. And I'm going to look up after when we do. Okay, there will be a part 2. After we go through the interviews with the detectives, we can look up some of the videos that he was sitting in court and stuff like that. Like, I can't play a full out unless I'm commentating it to it. So that's the plan that I'm thinking about doing. I'll see the latest of things that has been in this case. Right. So in Florida, if you have a death of like killing somebody, you get the lethal injection. Like, you just die. You're on death row. He's on death row till now, until he's ready, till they put him down. Yeah, he killed a family and a dog. Like, He knew that he was going to get the death penalty. He knew all this. There's no chance of parole while on death row. It would need to be pardoned. Yeah, he wasn't. They were not going to get him. No parole. They were putting him straight on death row. And because he used the mental health card, they did a lot of digging in that, and he didn't get any type of knowing he was bipolar manic until in the 2000. That's when he was 28 years old. So at this time this happened in 2008, and 28, 29, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. He was 36 years old when he killed that family. I'm actually surprised he didn't take his own. Yeah. But he's too selfish to do that. You know what I mean? He's too selfish to take himself out, if you ain't noticed yet. The more we get into the interviews, that's the more you're going to really see who he really is and the monster that he became. You know, I've been wondering that Rosemary, and because I've never heard of this case, I've been wondering throughout this if he did, but apparently he didn't. No, he's still alive. He's still alive. He's taking it all the way to the box, I feel like. So, I don't know. Maybe to run his death penalty real quick, like he wants to die. But he's too selfish to take his own at all. Like, that's a true statement. Right, Teresa? He had to know he would never get away with what he did. No, he said that he took a bunch of Seroquel and he was digging through some clothes and he fell asleep in the closet. And then that's where they found him at. My best friend worked at our prison for 16 years, and she had to go into a room as the witness where someone was on the table when they had to perform the lethal injection. Yeah. That's crazy. In Florida is one of the states that they kill you through a death penalty. Then some states, like here in Ohio, we don't have that. But in Florida, they do. The death penalty. Hold on, guys. So here's this. No, I didn't want to share my link. So what a lethal injection is, it's a practice of injecting one or more drugs into a person, typically a barbiturate, block nervous transmissions, and so this one is to block the nerves and the muscles. And then potassium chloride is a metal halide salt composed of, I can't read these words. It's these three drugs for the express purpose to cause rapid death. The main application for the procedure is capital punishment. And capital punishment, also known as death penalty, is a state-sanctioned practice of killing a person as a punishment for a crime. The sentence ordering that an offender is to be punished in such a manner is known as a death sentence, and the act of carrying out the sentence is known as execution. But the term may also be applied to a border sentence include euthanasia is a practice initially ending life, including ending life and other forms of suicide. The drugs cause the person to become unconscious, stops their breathing, and cause a heart arrhythmia in that order. First developing in the United States, it became legal means of execution in Maryland, China, Thailand, Guatemala, and Maldives, Nigeria, and Vietnam. Through Guatemala, abolished the death penalty as civil cases in 2017, has conducted an execution since 2000, and the Maldives has never carried out executions since the independence. The same is true for Nigeria. Lethal injection was also used in the Philippines until the country re-established the death penalty in 2006. So, what's the method, but no longer does. So here's a little map over here. Usage lethal injection for the death penalty for jurisdiction in the United States in 2021. Uses method primary, but also has other methods. Okay. All right. His brain should be donated to science, but didn't just kill, he massacred them like cattle. Yes, he did. Like, something came over to him, and I really, really want to know what angered him to the point. He sat there and said they were full of love. They were a happy family. They made him happy. It's just right now he don't know what made him kill them that way, though. There was a reason for it. And I'm really trying to figure it out. You know that Timothy Nicholas, they brought him to McAllister, and that's where they put him down well. That's where he got his death sentence done at. I often wonder, who's Timothy Nicholas? Is that another, like, massacre, like killed a family? I often wonder what murderers like him think in the middle of the night in their cells. Do they think of happy times when the people they loved and killed? Do they even think of them at all? Yeah. I really think it would be pretty cool if I did a case and I invite someone with me to go visit the case that I'm doing, to see these questions I want to ask them, like what made you want to kill, like, because sometimes most of them, they said it's an addiction. It's a rush to kill another human being or a pet or anything that's alive. I think some do and some don't, Rosemary. Yeah, Teresa, the ones that do crimes of passion probably do, but the psychotic ones, who knows? I don't believe the ones who psychotic, like really out of their mind, really think about for the people they kill, because it's like a fantasy for them. I do believe, my opinion, like it's a rush and it's a fantasy, like weird fetishes and shit, like an addiction. And it all starts by like watching porn or killing small animals or, things like that. They're not empathic at all. They don't have any feelings. Now, the ones with crime of passion, I kind of believe like most of them are very calm and they don't cry through things unless they break and then they cry, just like this one. But I have a feeling his tears, some of it, I think it's real, but in a way, I feel like it's not, because he fucked up and he did something, but then on top of it, he kind of just snapped and went full ham on people that was already in front of them. Like, I believe if anybody was in front of him, he would have fucking killed, in my opinion. Then why did he call his ex-wife? That's the thing. That's what makes me weird out. Like, he probably called out his ex-wife because he needed someone to talk to, just to tell on himself. I don't know. My dad always said for all those people they do stuff like this, they should just be held court right then and there. I never knew what it meant until later on. After that, now I know what he meant. Yeah. And another thing is, I never understood, like, when they questioned them, like, okay, they came on honest, say that, yeah, I did kill them people or whatever. The detectives will ask gruesome questions, like, how did you do it? Why did you cut him that way? Things like that. Like, hold on, man. Like, you just said that you killed him. But I guess it's for procedure for the detectives to ask those type of questions because they want to know why. And it's for the families, you know. It's like kind of a closure thing for the bodies, in a way, of why did you, like, decapitated them like that, or, you know, why did you cut the boy's balls off? That's another thing I wanted to question. Why did you cut his genitals off? Like, I don't get why that happened. And then when he cut them open, I think he put bird seed or some type of something in the wounds, dog food or something. It was like weird shit that I was reading up on it. It's settled. I'm never dating again after this. I'm just going to live with the nuns. Yeah. Very understanding. Maybe I got that name wrong. It's Timothy McVeigh. He blew up the place over in Oklahoma City. I don't know. He blew something up. Really. Yeah, he fed the wounds. Yeah, email me or message me, Teresa, and because I have a list that I'm gonna do. So I have a list of people I'm gonna do throughout my true crime. Yeah, he fed the wounds up with dog food or something like that. It's like weird shit. He did the Oklahoma City. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, hold on, baby. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. Oh, I might have to look him up, Teresa. So just message me and I'll have the nuns check the dudes out for me. Check them for demons, like cute little demon detectors. Just laugh my ass off. That's funny. Well, the first person you need to check, Rosemary, is John. You know what I mean? Check if he got some demons running in him. Bahaha. I don't know. It's kind of creepy, guys. Like, I don't know. Give me 1 minute, guys. Might hear my microwave go off for a minute. Give me your cup, please. All right, hold on, guys. I gotta give her food, so give me 1 minute. All right, I'm back. Back again. Oh, Lord, there's not enough holy water for John. Yeah, they want to question these people to see why. Yeah. That's crazy. Well, I've been on here for 3 hours. That's crazy. But all right, guys, I just want to say thank you for coming in. Check out, keep your notifications on for part 2. Like I was saying in the beginning of this, I'm going to start doing my videos, posting my trade crime videos, but that's going to be like starting in the end of September when I get enough equipment for the laptop to do all that so I can get it all together and stuff. But anyways, I want to thank everyone for coming. I appreciate all the kindness and supporting of the channel and myself. Please keep your notifications on for the next part 2 of the Edward case. I think it's very interesting and very weird out per se. Yeah, it was Timothy McVeigh who blew up one of the buildings in Oklahoma City and killed 160 people, and they brought him some Massacre to execute. Wow. Yeah, you have a good night too, Rosemary. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Be kind to yourself and others. Doesn't cost anything. It's free. Be yourself. Know that you're worth it. And just know that you matter to me. All right, guys, thanks for checking in. Bye, Teresa. Bye, Rosemary. Bye, John. Bye, Gwen. Bye, all the ones that came in to say hello. Marie21, thank you. I will check you guys later. And if you guys ain't friends on Facebook with me, please check out the Facebook page of Manic Stream XM. Just write the name in and it will pop up the avatar. That's where I put all the latest updates on there. Check out the About page where the other additional links for the channel, like Instagram, Twitter, Amazon wish list, all those great things. If you like to donate to the channel, please check out the Cash App and PayPal link in the About section. So I hope everyone has a good night, morning, or afternoon, or a whole day. And check y'all later. Bye.